Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If it is your first time here, make sure that you run down and hit that subscribe button. And if you find this video at all helpful, make sure that you give that a little thumbs up. Okay, so today's video is going to be a sort of Michael's haul that I got over the course of last week from the pin bar. Now that my pin bar in my little small town Michael's is starting to actually stock stuff on the pin bar. It was looking pretty bare there for a while, since the beginning of the year really, and now they're really starting to fill the stock in, and I am super thrilled about it. Okay, so the things that I got were more items from the Kelly Creates line. For those of you who haven't already seen it, there was also a Kelly Creates pin line, and I did a pin test video on the pin line itself, but I did go ahead. They didn't have the little 3-pack of just black when I picked up my pin, so I did pick that up. But I will link that video in the description box below so that you can go and check that out as well. This is actually turning out to be a really great line, and so far I am really liking everything in it. So to start off, they had these super cute pink and sort of a green, springy green color traveler's notebooks, and they're called, well, practice journals in here, but sort of in a traveler's notebook format, and these fun little inserts for it. And I just happen to love the fact that there was a black paper insert, and the paper quality, I just opened this up, is nice and thick and feels really good. So I am actually looking forward to using this in the journal, and I think I'm going to open up the pink one. Alright. Oh, look at that. It's got a little pen holder in here. That is really, I really like that. Okay. And then it comes with 2 elastics. And it comes with a gridded insert. The gridded inserts aren't really my favorite, but I don't mind them too much. And then it has this little cute pocket in the back. So I went ahead and picked up the 3 different types of inserts, and that was the black insert, the dot grid insert, and I'll open that up. And the paper in this feels really nice too. It is really, really smooth, so it won't damage the tips of your brushes. The dots are a little bit bolder than I think that I normally like, and I don't believe they're exactly on the 5mm grid, but I could be wrong about that. It could be because the size of the dots is sort of throwing me off, but I don't mind it too much. I don't think that it'll get in my way. I'll have to let you know as I use it a little bit more. But otherwise, the paper quality feels really nice in it. It's not super thin like you can find in some notebooks. So I'm happy about that. And this one says create calm, and this is the other gridded version, and this one says be in the moment, and it's just another grid format. This grid format really comes in handy when you're practicing different lettering, so that you can get all of the spacing inside the letter and in between letters in the way you want it. So I do use the grid, and I just don't use it as much, but I do use it when I'm filling out or trying out a new font. So I am going to load, I'll probably pull the grid out and put the black and the dot in this. And because it did come in the 2 colors, it just feels really nice. I am going to load probably a black and a grid in this one. So I'm pretty sure that it has the grid in it already, and if I look closely, it does. So that is what I'm going to be doing with these, and that way I can interchange them as needed. But I think what I'm going to start with is this pink one. Okay, moving on. She also has this sort of piece journal is what it's called. And I thought it was really pretty. Now, I've had issue in the past with using, I'm going to pull this out and get that out of the way. I've had issue in the past using a ring bound system because I am a lefty and I tend to bang my knuckles on the rings. And while you can pull pages out and write in them for my everyday planner, that wasn't exactly practical because I found myself not always wanting to fuss with the rings themselves. But because now I'm using a hardbound system and I would find a different purpose for this and maybe not using it so much, I think that I could keep up with actually putting the pages back in when they're supposed to go back in. So, but it was really, really pretty. There are all kinds of little decorative divider pages in here. And I'm just going to flip through, and then you get the calendar pages that are completely undated, so you can put in whatever dates work and at any time. And then there are these cute little headers on top of the different pages inside their little monthly section, which I thought was a cute little element. And then you get some blank pages before you move on to the next divider and the next month, and then it starts over again. So that is going to run you through all the months of the year. And I just thought the color scheme and the watercolor background look and feel to all of them was really pretty. So I thought there was definitely something I could find a use for as far as this journal was concerned. Now, this is definitely a 5mm dot grid, and it is a lot less bold. It's a lot less in your face than this little journal is. So if you could see them, oh yeah, definitely, it wasn't just me. Okay, so these are slightly smaller. I would say these are probably like a 3mm dot grid, but I don't have a ruler over here to really check that for you. 3 to 4 millimeters, whereas this looks like it's the 5mm dot grid. And these are a lot more subtle, and these are more in your face. I think they're both sort of a gray color. This is just slightly bolder. Okay, but this journal is also really nice. It's got a nice fabric canvasy feel to the outside, very high quality feel, and I thought it was very, very pretty. So I will be finding a use for this, definitely. Moving on, this was a journal accessory kit, and it says you get 6 sticker sheets, a washi tape spool, a fine brush pen, and 3 tab sheets. And because I go through these pens so much, especially anything in black, and I've really been loving the way that these pens write, I am not mad about having a bunch of these pens laying around. I can promise you that. But so this would be something that you could use in this little piece planner, or something you could use in the travel planner. So I'm going to flip this over and show you sort of what you get. These are a whole bunch of little dividers, and then there's just all of these beautifully written out little stickers that are clear stickers, so they don't have that white border around them. They're all clear, and they are also punched with holes so that you can put them in the actual planner and use them as you want. And this is sort of a tealy green sort of washi tape, and you get 6 yards of it, and it looks more blue here than it does on the back. So either way, it's really, really pretty. Everything is really nicely packaged. Okay. So yeah, that is definitely more of a blue, whereas it looks a little bit more teal on the actual sheet, but that goes perfectly with the color of this book. And all of the words on it are just so well written out. Okay, and then here are the little craft colored dividers, which are cute. Definitely goes with the blue. And then these feel like really thick, high quality stickers. So there's a lot of gold in it and a sort of crafty color. And a lot of the blue, which I like. The whole color scheme is just really, really nice. All of these feel really, really nice to the touch. So I'm a very tactile person, and so if it doesn't feel right, I don't tend to use it. But these are really, really nice. But that just shows you sort of the contents as they come. Alright, the paper pads. This is a lined paper pad, a dotted paper pad, your grid pad, and then a tracing pad. So I am going to rip the plastic off of these. We'll see what we're looking like in here. I read the back of them, and it really doesn't say anything other than it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. It doesn't really give you the actual grams per square meter or the pound weight of the actual paper itself on here. It does say that it is smooth paper to keep your pens happy and healthy without damaging or fraying their nibs, which is good. Alright, so let's open up the lined one, and I love that it's sort of already scored for you so that you can fold over the top, because that, with this type of pad, is really irritating if it doesn't lay right. So, alright. The paper in it is actually really thick. The paper feels nice and thick, so I'm going to take the pen out of the journal accessory kit, and I'm just going to write on it. My handwriting today is sort of leaving a lot to be desired, but we'll just pretend like that looks okay. And let's check it out here. Oh, wow. I mean, you really cannot see any of that through the paper, like at all. There is basically no ghosted, so that is really nice. For my taste, the lines are pretty far spaced apart. I wonder how I would feel. Alright, the larger brush pen doesn't bother me as much as the smaller pen does. I'm getting some weird fibers coming off the tip of my pen, and I can't tell if that is the paper or if that is the pen. Let me find a different Tombow. Okay, I'm thinking that may just be the fact that that Tombow is old and worn out. So let's, yeah, I'm going to say that those fibers were definitely that pen. Okay, so I've tested a couple pens on this paper. This Band-Aid is really getting in my way, but I keep catching this little hangnail on everything, and it's just irritating the crap out of me. And there, yeah, no ghosting on anything. So this paper actually, I think, would be great. It says it has micro perforations in it so that you can, yep, just easily pull it out if you want to. And, well, I just did. So with something like this, it would be very, very simple for you to use both sides of the paper. And that's not something that you find in a lot of sort of pads like this. So that is really nice. But yeah, you can really not see that. I mean, I can see it because I mean, the paper is obviously a little transparent, you know, but the studio lights really pull that out, and you would not be able to see that under normal light. So yeah, that's really nice, really thick paper. I'm really liking it. It's really smooth to the touch, like it says, so it would definitely be really brush pen friendly. And I imagine that the other pads are going to be pretty similar in paper quality, but I don't want to assume anything, so let's sort of check that out. I'm going to go ahead and open these up. Alright, so this is the dotted version. Let's open it up. Alright, so this is the 5mm dot grid, and the paper feels just as thick as it did on the other one. Going to very quickly write hi because my handwriting sucks, so let's just shorten the word. Alright, so hi on that. And again with the Tombow. Turn it over. Yep, nothing. There's nothing there. So again, and the dot grid is on the front and the back of these pages, so you would be able to write on either side if you chose to do that. I don't know if I ever really write on the back in a pad like this, but that option is there if you want to pull the pages out and you want to just practice on the back. Alright, and then we have the gridded version. For some reason with gridded paper, I tend to find that the quality of the paper is generally a little less than stellar on some pads, but let's find out. Now, this feels just as thick as the other pages, and so let's just write our word on here. Yep, absolutely nothing on the back of this as well. So the paper quality is the same across all three versions. The lined, the dotted, and the grid. So I am actually really happy with these, and I will probably be using these in the workshops that I have coming up. I don't use this type of pad a whole lot, but these would be perfect to use in upcoming workshops, so I will definitely find a use for them. I just wanted to check the paper quality on them so that I could know whether or not I would recommend them to someone, and I can't recommend something that I actually have not tried. I actually really love this sort of fabric-y border up here. This one is fraying a little bit, but I just like the feel of this. So it has this little fabric border on top of each one, which I think is just very, very cute. It gives it a nice little decorative accent, but I mean, it wouldn't bother me if that wasn't there. Okay, so this one is the tracing pad. And there's not a whole lot to really test with this. I mean, it's just tracing paper. This is really smooth to the touch. It may be a little bit smoother than some tracing papers that I have had before, but I can't really tell. And this is also going to come in handy with the thing that I'm going to show you next, which is the two different Learn brush lettering pads here. So this is the real reason why I got the tracing paper, because while I think these come with tracing paper already in them, you know, there's only so many times you can write on that before it's filled up, and you'll need more tracing paper. But I also wanted to see how I felt about these. And so this is the small brush tip pen version, and this is the large brush tip pen. So this is something that you would use with the small brushes here, and then the large tip is what you would use with your kois and your Tombows and anything with this sort of larger brush tip end would definitely go into the green version here. And these smaller pens like these and the Pentel Feud sign pens or the Tombow Fudenosuke pens, things like that would go with the small brush tips. So let's open this up, and I like that this is on a spiral up top, and so it's really easy to flip through. That's really nice. It says you do the basic strokes. It gives you a lowercase alphabet and then an uppercase alphabet. It gives you some information on different types of pens, paper, patience, and practice. Then you move into basic strokes and drills. And I'm not going to flip through this entire thing, but let's see. So you have your several sheets of tracing paper, and then the actual strokes themselves. And you got upstrokes, your downstrokes, your up and down combos, so that you go back and forth between the two. Then directly following that, you have more tracing paper. It looks like 3 sheets. Yep, that was 3, and then there are 3 sheets in between. So you got 3 practice sheets before you run out and need more. Alright, you've got your underturns and your overturns. Compound curves. And see, this is what I mean when I say that the gridded paper is really nice for practicing your spacing in your letters so that you can really get it down. It gives you just a slightly better visual when you're doing this to start than the dot grid does. But the dot grid is also just fine, and it doesn't really break it up with the harsh lines. So, I mean, it's really personal preference. I use both. Okay. You've got your ascender loops and your descender loops. It's a really full book, and so the pages are kind of, the rings could be just a tad larger on this, I think, and then that might turn over just a little bit easier. But again, it's a brand new book, and so the pages are still kind of stuck together on it. But I think as you break that in, it would ease up a little bit. So, ascender loops, descender loops. Your ovals and reverse ovals. Which not a lot of people really include reverse ovals, so that's interesting. I actually like that. Okay, and then... Okay, well, me and this thing are going to have a fight here in a minute. I don't want to rip the paper, but I feel like I'm going to. So yeah, the rings could be a little bit bigger on this. But then you're moving into your lowercase alphabet. And that is the entirety of the lowercase alphabet. And then you're going to move into your uppercase alphabet. I think these more go in line, where there was a different sort of order to the lowercase alphabet, which I think probably has something to do with the way the letters are formed. Like, I noticed that it starts with I and T, which is your basic upstroke, and then a downstroke with your coming up. So these are like the two of the simplest letters to form, and I think that that may be how she has sort of worked the lowercase alphabet. And then these 3 letters are similar in U, V, and W. So N and M together, and then you go into X. So I'm sure that there is definitely a method to the madness here, but the lowercase alphabet does not go in order. The uppercase looks like it does. So that is going to take us through that workbook. And I will sort of break up the pages here, and hopefully that'll fall back into place a little bit better, because the rings just look really small on that. And I'm noticing right off bat that the rings on the larger brush tip book are a lot bigger, so they are probably going to be a lot more forgiving in this regard. Alright, so this is probably going to be the same for the most part, but I'm just going to flip you through what the difference is in the sizing of your letters. Oh, that worked out a whole lot better. Yeah, I think it's just that the smaller rings on that first notebook. So you've got your basic strokes again, and you could just see the difference when you're using a large brush rather than a small brush, and that's really going to be the only difference between the books. They look to be in probably about the same order, if not the exact same order. The letter forms look similar. And then here's a little congratulations on the back. Alright. But you would definitely get a lot of good practice out of this kind of book. So, I actually really like that. I'm just going to flip through. Yeah, see, that folded over so much easier. Okay, so it's just the smaller book. It's just a little too... These are all of the items that I picked up from Michael's in this sort of haul. I have really been enjoying the brush pens. I'm using them this week and doing my headings rather than the Tombos that I normally use. So I wanted to give the rest of the line a try. I am really pleased with the products that I am seeing so far. It's hard to find something that I really, really like as far as paper quality, pen quality, and things like that that come out of Michael's and Hobby Lobby. I mean, they're really good for your cheaper sort of dupe versions of things in most instances, and then that's about it. The higher quality usually comes from somewhere else, but I am extremely pleased with all of the items that I have gotten out of this collection. So the American Crafts brand, you know, in this, and Kelly did a fantastic job with making sure that everything was really, really high quality. So I'm really enjoying this. And just to take you back real quick through the items that I got, those were all of the pads. We had the stickers for the journal kit. This happy little piece planner. And these fun little practice journal traveler's notebook styles. I think I'm really going to enjoy this. I haven't had one that had these individual little pin loops in it, so I definitely think I'm going to be popping my pins in here. Let's see how they fit. Perfect. And going with that. So that's with, I haven't actually looped that in, but that would be the thickness with the pin inside, and then it would just tie shut. Really nice. Everything is just, it feels really good to the touch. It looks really good. I love her color schemes, and so I am really, really happy with this. But I think that is going to wrap it up for the review on all of this, the haul portion of it and everything. And I will see you at the end of the week with a brand new video. If you have an idea for a video, or if you would like any of these products tested more in depth, just let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from each and every one of you. I respond to each one. Until next time, happy journaling, everybody. Bye.